Good morning. This video is going to be a chilled out one. It's going to be quite chatty and it might be a bit long. So if that's not your vibe, feel free to check out and I'll catch you next time. But I know a lot of you do like this kind of content, so I hope you will enjoy this one. It's been a couple of months since Lotus moved from his quarantine enclosure into the Hamlet, which is his main enclosure. This is the one you guys saw me set up. When did I post that video? September, I think that got posted. Now, anytime I show an enclosure setup, it inevitably comes with requests for knowing how I clean that setup, how you keep it clean, how you keep it from smelling. I'll be honest, I don't think I've ever had a smelly hamster enclosure, and that's not just from me saying it. Obviously, you can get a bit nose blind to your own pets, but other people have not been able to smell the enclosures either. Now, there is a pinned comment at the top of the comment section beneath that video that explains in a lot of detail and many paragraphs the full cleaning routine, everything from how I spot clean, how I do surface cleans, how I do partial cleans, the benefits of them, why that's done, why that is the kind of standard practice for cleaning hamster cages these days. Back in the day, it was normal to fully clean out a hamster's enclosure, take all the bedding out, throw it out, replace it with clean stuff. And it was also something that was done quite frequently. Some people would clean out their enclosures every single week, some people a couple of times a week. Now don't worry, I'm not going to spend this entire video going into the finer details of modern hamster care and how enclosures are kept clean. But what I will do is leave that same pinned comment beneath this video as well. So if you just open the comment section, it will be the very first comment that you see. It's quite long, there's a lot of paragraphs to it, but it's also very detailed. So if you have any questions about how enclosures like this are kept clean, how they are kept from smelling, how they're kept safe and hygienic for the hamster, also how much time it takes, how much it costs, all that stuff, go and read that comment first. There's a good chance your question has been answered down there. And if you can't find answers to your question in that, feel free to ask in a comment and I'll do my best to answer. So today we're going to be doing a surface clean, which is a little bit more intense than a spot clean, but not quite as big of a clean as a partial clean. I do a surface clean around about once every month. It's not exact, that's just kind of a rough estimate of when it needs to be done. And it's exactly what it sounds like. We're just cleaning the surface layer of the enclosure, the most trafficked area, the place where Lotus does most of his foraging, most of his playing, a lot of his pooping, and the place where he makes the most mess. Hello! He's heard my voice, he's come up to see. Oh, can you see him on camera? Oh, hold on. He's come out of his burrow. Hi, yeah, you think I'm gonna bring you treats, and you are very right about that. You want some snack? I'll get you some in a minute, alright? Hi. You're not supposed to be able to climb. Oh. Oh, how am I supposed to live with you? You're adorable. What was I saying? I was telling them things. I've completely forgotten. Hi. Oh, yeah, hi. Have you seen the mess you've made? Where's all your bedding gone from here? You taking it underground? Yeah? Yeah, and there's bedding in your water bowl too. I know, I can see that. I'm gonna clean it. Lotus is a very messy hamster. I love that about him. I would never change that. Don't you worry about it. I know you're gonna jump on me, aren't you? He's very messy. He's very, very active. It's been a lovely change of pace from Lemonade, who was so well behaved, such a clean hamster, such an easy hamster to take care of. But I do like a hamster that's a little bit more chaotic and a little bit more high maintenance, as you are. You can probably already tell how much more confident he is compared to when he first arrived here back in June. He was a very, very nervous hamster, quite literally shaking in his boots. We worked on his confidence during quarantine. He ended up staying quite a bit longer in quarantine than I would normally be comfortable having him in there, but I'm really glad that I did keep him in there for longer because it made such a difference to his confidence. And now, he's a little overconfident, aren't you? Yes. I'm going to start by removing all of the items from in here. Every single thing is going to come out so that then I can more easily clean all the substrate off this top layer. This is the part where he's going to get really upset with me because he does not like it when I move his stuff, but it's got to be done. Can I take that, please? Please? I need you to get off it so I can take. Okay, I'll take this then. You can't defend everything. Why? Most of these items will go back into the enclosure. I'm not going to make it too different because that will freak him out and that is not fair. I'll be putting a couple of new things in just to keep it fresh and interesting because we don't want him getting bored. You've got to find that middle ground between keeping them feeling comfortable and safe in a familiar setting, but also not keeping things too stagnant, because they will get bored, and if they get bored, they will get naughty. Can I take this? Or you claiming that you can claim that for a minute? I'm gonna take this. If he gets too worked up, I will take him out and put him in his traveller, but if I can keep him in here, that's a little bit better for him because he doesn't like his travel cage either. Yeah, you'd rather be in here while I'm tearing up your home than in your traveller, which is a very, very small space and not very nice. Sometimes it's a necessity. Wow, you just devoured that, didn't you? This used to be a spray. That's a bit of cardboard that was holding the bunches together. It was probably about that tall. That's all that's left of it. He's found a bunch of seeds that had fallen behind the mushroom house. Having a good old snack time. I'll keep you busy for a minute. I'll work over here so you don't notice me. Wait, please don't fall down that hole, okay? Ah, oh. So please exit the hole. Oh, he's just in there now. I don't know what he's found down there, but it's interesting enough to keep him. Well, at least he's occupied, I guess. So now everything's kind of exposed. I can actually show you his burrow system. He's got one entrance there, he has one there, and he also uses, this is his current front door entrance that oh, you can come back out of that one, hello. So he has his burrow system now going through the entire thing, which is excellent. Don't know just how intricate it is, because obviously that would involve going down into the burrows and disturbing them, which is not something that's good for the hamster, not something we're going to be doing today. He is going to be due a partial clean in about a month, and we'll be cleaning this third. Oh, I just knocked all of that on the floor. That is one of the entrances or exits to his burrow system. So right now he's hiding it because he doesn't want predators to find it. This burrow entrance is one that he built himself, and he has 3 artificially made entrances. This one here, which had the well cover over it, and those burrow covers, they're there to create that sense of security that he's building for himself right here. I'm taking the blue bridge out of the enclosure, and I don't intend on putting it back in, because initially when I designed this setup, the substrate in this location was a little bit lower, and there was also a little bit less sand. So this was serving 2 purposes in the enclosure. It was providing overhead coverage in the sand pit, as well as providing access to the garden area. But since that initial setup, I did make the decision to add more sand to the sand bath, which has meant that this bridge is now not tall enough to provide overhead coverage. It's just taking up space in there. And as Lotus has built burrows under this section of bedding, the substrate has naturally risen upwards, so he no longer needs help accessing the garden area. He can just get up there easily on his own. So at this point, this bridge no longer serves a function, and it's just taking up space. And I don't like to have things in my hamster's enclosure that don't have some sort of function or some sort of use to the hamster. So I'm just going to go ahead and take this out, and we'll fill the space up with things that he can actually use. One of the upsides to having almost the entire top level being shelving, aside from the safety aspect of it, of course it prevents any heavy objects from falling down into the burrows, damaging the burrows, hurting the hamster, all that stuff. It's also a lot easier to clean. All I have to do to replace the bedding on the shelf is take the shelf out, and there we go, the shelf is clean. I can show you, oh, there's a burrow system here. One of the really cool things I now get to show you now I've taken this shelf off is one of the entrances to Lotus's burrow system. You can see where it starts here from the hole that was in the shelf, and then it goes down to the back corner and off to the right, where it suddenly dips downwards because the sand bath is in the way here. So the tunnel goes directly down and it goes beneath the sand bath. This then connects up to that hole that you saw him hiding earlier, and it's very possible that there could be more tunnels branching off underneath in this section of the enclosure. I actually quite like the mystery of not knowing exactly what's going on under there, and it's nice to know that Lotus has this very private, very safe area that he can go to that no one else can access. I'm gonna go ahead and put that shelf back on now because I stepped away from the enclosure for a few minutes, and you can see here, this is Lotus now trying to hide that entrance because it's become exposed since I took the shelf off. So I'm going to put the shelf back on, and that should hopefully help him feel secure again. Quite happy with how clean that is now. When I do the partial clean, I will be taking the sand out and giving it the full cleaning treatment, baking it, sieving it properly, all that stuff. But for now, this is all it needs. I can see that shelf moving. There is a possibility that I'm going to upset Lotus because he's around this area. Nope, okie dokie. Great stuff. Empty that into the box. And again, I can show you a little bit of his burrow system. You can see the hole here that connects up to that one we saw on the other side of the sand bath. So this goes directly beneath the sand bath and then goes upwards underneath that other shelf. Hello sir, I just cleaned that sand bath. I know you're very upset with me. Would you like a lift? Oh yes, it's fresh sand. Would you like to go somewhere? Okie dokie. Alright, I'm going to very quickly just skim off some of this substrate on the top. You're alright, I know. Oh, he barked at me. You give me a telling off for that, huh? Yeah, I deserve it, I know. If you've never heard a hamster vocalize before, that's what it sounds like. Right, I'm just going to take this and then we're done. I've just put that straight back into the sand bath again. Maybe I should have done the sand bath last. Oh, and half of that got dumped on your head. There we go. That's it. That's all I needed. See? Didn't touch your burrows. Everything's fine. Everything's good. Thank you very much, sir. I promise if you keep being a good boy, then at the end of this, you can have a treat. Because guess what? Niteangel has sent you a bunch of really nice treats. A big box of them that we've got to unpack later. Hey? So you're going to be a chubby boy. Before you worry too much about that stain, that is not urine, it is water. This is where his water bowl is kept, and it often gets bumped into, a little bit of water spills out, it spreads around and collects with the debris that's already on the shelf and creates that watermark. It's like playing a little game with him. He's trying to stop me. I know you think I'm just coming in here and trashing your home, which I kind of am, but it's for good reason. Aha! I have actually found part of his toilet. It's not where he's peeing, but there's a lot of poop there. Don't tell me you've got a separate toilet for where you pee or poop. That's way too fancy for you. You're not in that tax bracket, love. Alright, and in we go with some fresh, soft, cozy bedding. Now the weather's starting to cool down a little bit. You can get all snuggly in here. I've given the lid a quick wipe down, and we can put that back on. Hello, sir. Here we go. Bit of grass back then. There you go. Take up this burrow box. And take that shelf out. Actually, you know what? I didn't make as much mess this time. Well done, me. And we've exposed another tunnel. This one's really snaky, I like this. I'm a little annoyed that this doesn't show as well on camera because the camera's just not picking up the depth of the tunnel. There's not a lot of contrast there. But in person, these are really interesting. So I'm gonna try and edit the footage to make it more visible for you. And hopefully you can get an idea of what a hamster's burrow system kind of looks like. Try not to disturb too much of this bedding if I can. Oh, there we go. There we go. Hey, I was trying to keep that tidy. You're messing it up. You're messing it up. Yeah, I know you're trying to hide it. I'll get your shelves back on, okay. I was going to show you a close-up of this bit of section, but he's clearly not happy. So, sorry guys. Buddy, I'm going to need you to move. Well, okay. You live under there now. Don't just chew on it. That's not poop back there, by the way, that's cork granules. No, you can't get out. No. No, you live in a house full of predators. Now I'm going to add back in some of the supplies and a fresh layer of top substrate. If you're someone who follows me over on my main Instagram account, that's the Something We Saw account, you're probably already aware of just how chaotic Lotus can be. He has his own personal security camera, night camera, in his enclosure, and that footage gets shared over onto my Instagram stories, and I've only shared about half of the trouble that he's made, because if I shared it all, that is the only content you get on that account, which I know some of you would love, but I'm not trying to drown that account in hamster content. Some of the footage that I didn't get a chance to share over there was what I caught him doing one night with the mushroom. This mushroom was made with just one single function. It was made to provide some overhead coverage for his green burrow entrance, because right above that he has mesh, it's a very exposed area, and it did its job. It worked great. Until one morning, a couple of weeks ago, I came into the room and I noticed that the mushroom cap was off. Now, it was designed to come off. I made it so that I could swap the mushroom caps out for different designs, but I couldn't understand how it had fallen off, so it's a little bit weird. But I put the mushroom cap back on, don't think too much about it. The next day I come to the room, it's off again. Put it back on, go about the day. The next morning, the third day, it's off again. So I was in desperate need of satisfying my curiosity. I put the mushroom cap back on and I adjust his security camera so it's facing the mushroom, so I can record whatever is going on, because I'm fairly certain it's going to happen again. It's been 3 nights in a row. It's going to happen the 4th night. I need to know what it is. This child of chaos was scaling the mushroom stalk, knocking the cap off so he could sit on top of the stalk. This tiny, tiny, tiny pedestal at the top of the stalk, looking around as though he can actually see. And once he got bored of sitting and chilling out, he used it to reach the mesh of the lid so that he could climb around on that. The parental side of me is freaking out, because this isn't safe, this is dangerous, what if he falls, what if he hurts himself? But it's being drowned out by the part of me that cannot stop giggling every time I see this footage of him scooching his little butt back and forth across the mesh like some fuzzy little caterpillar. Obviously, after that 4th night, once I caught the footage, once I saw what he was doing, the mushroom came out. In the future, I might try and redesign the mushroom so that he can't climb it anymore and so that the cap is fixed and doesn't come off. But for now, he does need a replacement overhead coverage for that area. So I've designed him a seasonally appropriate replacement. This is what remains of his snack garden. It looked much more glorious a couple of months ago. Lotus has shown himself to be a really big fan of foraging and puzzle toys, so I'm going to replace his garden with a different kind of forager. I've filled the garden box with a thick layer of hay, and then I've stuffed inside it all these different coloured grasses. And then I'm going to sprinkle a layer of his seed mix over the top. This seed mix contains a variety of different sized seeds, so some of them sink a lot deeper into the grass than others. Some of them sit on the top and are really easy to find, so there's varying levels of difficulty for this foraging toy. This is another very easy to make forage toy. You might recognize this wooden ball from the hamster mail unboxing we did last December. It's from a tree-shaped hanging toy that came in that box that I took to pieces. This is the smaller of the two balls, and I've just stuffed it full of a herb and flour mix. I'm gonna try giving him one of these super worms, but these are enormous. Thanks for joining me today, and remember, if you have any more questions, go and check out that pinned comment first. You might have your question already answered in there, and if not, feel free to ask me in the comments. I'll do my best to answer.